I find it nourishing. I find it restoring. You know, it's a gift. It's the best thing I've ever had in my whole life is to be able to do this. But I think physicians have a leg up because what we do makes a difference in people's lives. And if you can relate to people and do it with love, that's remarkable.
There's just no one like Dr. Johnston. One of the most humble, big-hearted physicians you could find.
He goes under the bridges in Los Angeles here to see the homeless. It's not infrequent for somebody to call him by name. He goes and gives them food, gives them clothing, gives them money, takes care of them. And he's been doing this for the last 30 years or more.
He's a physician with a vision. He's a man of God who gives 100% of himself to other people.
I was working, this is in the early 1980s, I don't remember the exact date. The paramedics brought in a very thin young man, and he was dead. And they said, we found him on the street, Doc. You know, that was shocking to me. A few days later, they brought in another one, almost identical. And so I said to paramedics, where are you finding these people? Where did they come from? They're under the bridges, Doc. What I found was a colony of people who were hooked on crack cocaine and infected with HIV and dying without treatment. And they wouldn't come to the hospital because they would be killed by the gang members. So I notified the public health people, and I began to go periodically. I'd go and say, you know, if you're sick and you want to come to the hospital, the door is open. Some of the nurses wanted to go with me. So we would go out. They would take cookies, and they would take clothes, blankets, and water, and they would take things that people could use, Bibles. But the most important thing was touching somebody, looking them in the eye, you know, and recognizing their dignity and their humanity. And it became a regular thing. The hospital supported it, and it's been going on ever since. When I first came here, 1975, I was afraid of gangs. As a kid growing up in LA, I always had this sort of image of criminality and threat. Then I began to work in the community, and one night we got a kid who had been shot in the head. He was 17 years old. I took him up to the ICU and kept him on life support, and the family showed up, and they sort of responded to me differently. And I pulled out this kid's records, and I realized that I had taken care of him before. I'd taken care of him when he was 4 years old and when he was 8 years old. And I could see his face. I read the chart, and I could remember just when I met him. And I suddenly saw, for the first time, I could see him the way his mother saw him. I've never been the same since. When I see people who've been shot, I know they're people. I treat people with respect and dignity and love. I'm not here to judge, I'm here to help. I think the impact that we have is far greater than we're willing to recognize. You know, if I've got a mother at 4 in the morning who is worried because her child has a fever, and I can examine that child and I can safely, comfortably say to her, he's going to be okay. And if you can do that, I think you've done something for the patient that nobody else can do. It makes all the difference in the world. And I don't talk religion very much to patients, but my religious faith is part of my approach to everyone. It's become clearer and clearer to me that you have to bring your faith into everything you do. Let your life speak your truth.